The thing that 421 did is tell me something I didn't know.
421 was the first pillar or the first institution within this neighborhood.
It gives you a space that feels very open.
Because it's not an institution that's like, I'm here, I'm loud, rah, rah, rah.
They do so much programming all the time. That's part of their mission.
Yeah, honestly, we've worked on so many things.
10 is the age where you actually develop autonomy.
I'm gonna just say, I'll see you on the 20th anniversary.
I wish 421 has a big, wonderful birthday cake for the 10 years.
My first interaction with the idea of 421 came when I was interviewing. The interview was not really an interview, it was more of an inspirational conversation about what 421 can be, what we can try to achieve with this modest space. And that has not changed. Our vision has always been to be a platform for emerging creative practitioners from the UAE and the region around us, to give a space for artists, creatives to experiment, to share their practices with different audiences, engage on different levels, and provide a welcoming space for anyone that walks through our doors.
Since the start of 421, collaboration has been at the forefront, and in a way that feels like we're friends who are working together. Faisal and I worked very closely during the launch event 10 years ago. So returning 10 years later and collaborating again with the expanded team has been a real joy, because that spirit has never left. To have a place that actually nurtured something that is long-lasting means a lot to me.
So the first time I've interacted with 421 was in the setup for their opening in November 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And that was for the creative market, which was kind of in the streets of Miza. The first thing that potentially stood out to me was how rooted they were. They kind of acknowledged them being on the port, they've acknowledged the wider context around them. Another thing was sort of the openness. They were kind of open to us thinking about how we would like to represent ourselves, what we would want to try. So it was kind of a very collaborative environment that was also rooted. Warehouse 421 sustains enduring relationships and trust with people they collaborate with, I think primarily through an act of listening first. The first conversations I've always had with 421 is, here's what we're thinking, what are you thinking, and how can we combine our thoughts and bring this forward?
Being an intern at 421, I think, was one of my earlier formal experiences of, working. I remember I tell Mace this all the time. I feel like I learned so much of what I know because of that internship experience.
So I've worked in a lot of different types of spaces. So I've worked in galleries and publishing. But I think for me, 421 and working in this institution really changed my way of thinking of how art spaces and art communities should run. Like, you really feel that sense of how close-knit the community is.
So before joining 421, I actually didn't know that much about the arts and culture scene here in the UAE. This was a big plot twist, a big jump. I just wanted to be involved in work that was meaningful, and that's what 421 felt like to me. To be at 421 and to experience the work that they do here was kind of groundbreaking. I think it's a genuinely very unique space.
421 is the foundation for my career today. And I really love everything that I learned from here, and I take it with me every time. And I think, again, where I am right now is because of 421.
What really is happening here, this is a space of place making, in the sense that people are truly seen. From this perspective, what the team here has been doing is really not to think about what do people of determination need, but what do we as a team, as a space need to do. And it acknowledged that the space itself needs to transform and needs to take action as a good host and to really see their guests and visitors. And this was really the approach from the early beginning.
I started as program facilitator here. They are a welcome people, you know. They are such nice people.
I like to work with amazing people and in teamwork together. It means a lot.
I'm happy to be a family of 421.
I felt very warm at 421 from very early on. The way that the team showed up for each other and for the people in Abu Dhabi was really special. That was probably when I was like, oh my God, these people actually care about me on a personal level. Like, all of these people are really, we're there for each other. And I think that was something that I don't know what I would have done without. There's a lot of tenderness. That's something that is why a lot of the relationships with the team for me are very meaningful.
As an artist who's a newcomer, they don't look at your history or who you are or where you come from. They just assessed my work, my proposal, my competence, and that was the only basis of choice. And I personally felt it was a pat on the back that, okay, UAE is your home. There is someone that understands your vision, and it gives a lot of confidence to people to continue experimenting and not to shy away from trying things and building things, new things that are not there. And this is what creativity is about, is creating something that has never been there. And for this to happen, it needs a lot of support system for the artist to have this confidence in his creative voice.
I think they're a very special institution. And I know that that can be said loosely, but the people that work at 421 really, really care about what they do here. It's visible all the time. Some of them I'd like to say they're my friends. Working with them is knowing that you have a team on your side. You know that they also want the best thing for the artist, and that's really just a nice feeling.
What connected me is this sense of hope, coming from New York and trying to figure out how would I fit again in the community here in UAE. I think Warehouse 421 kind of gave me that hope with the first show here, and then I had my institutional solo show here. The relationship kept growing, and I think this is the magic or the beauty of Warehouse 421. I've always kept sort of a personal and a professional relationship.
It means a lot that 421 has made focus on children's programming, because there are quite a few new community spaces, but 421 was definitely the first place to bring in the community, engage children and families where in an environment that wasn't too childish. It was enjoyable for the parents as well, which is much needed actually. As a new mother myself, sometimes you don't want to always be in overstimulating settings, and so 421 gives you that beautiful balance and inspiring.
I think for learning, it was evolution of what interpretive tools make sense in the sense of the community and what the community requires, and not just as an institutional ticking box.
Every exhibition where we are growing as a team in terms of what we can do, how we can help each other, and how we can help the community understand better. So even when I joined, we didn't do these accessibility tests. However, now it's part of the work that we do as comms and learning. And so it's always understanding that yes, again, we're not just an institution physically. We are trying to tell the stories of our artists and our artworks globally.
Having the space that makes it safe enough, even as for an employee, to feel like this is home, I'll be accepted whoever I am, but at the same time, there is a huge level of respect with each other. And I think that makes all the difference of being or feeling appreciated in a space that your voice is heard, but your voice is as equal as a manager, as a coordinator. And I think that is what makes 421 different.
I clearly remember my first day at 421. I was impressed how people are coming from the different background, different culture, and comes here together. I have seen many exhibitions, many community events, workshops with the greater diversity, with the kids, with the whole family, right? Yeah, whole family, and they really enjoy.
I came here yearly 1 or 2 exhibition like this, but now exhibition increase 3-4 exhibition in 1 year. Then our 4-to-1 team also increasing. I came time, only some people in working in the office, and here only one this area. But now we have another big building for office area. Then starting more workshop, more events, everything came to 4-to-1. Then me also improved too much because I came here. I am very poor in my language and I afraid of everything. But now I am improved also with them.
Faisal approached me and talked to me about this ADP program. It had this ambition of a year-long program of having, helping artists to really build an exhibition from scratch with the context of an institution. We have incredible museums, we have incredible gallery systems, but there aren't enough spaces for young artists who have a practice, who've really built their practice. So they're not brand new, but they're not working with a gallery. And, to have this kind of experience, it is so special that this program continues to grow and develop and to move forward because it's so unique in this ecosystem.
I think it offers the space of education kind of in a non-sort of top-down manner. It really lends a hand to the viewer. And to me, I feel like that's something that I really appreciate because if we're not infecting others with the art bug, then what is it that we're doing? And to do that, you have to be able to cross-pollinate cultures, languages, ideas, and also think about the next generation. I think Dana does an amazing job with the education team, and they're so important because they're the ones that are continuing on to this, and they're so lucky. Like, I wish I had this when I was a kid. What a magical place. So I feel like that's what they do best. And again, it's at eye level.
I really think that over the past 10 years, we've kind of built this really innovative and thoughtful way of working in the sense that all of our programs kind of are circular and they all serve and feed into one another, and everything's kind of very cohesive and holistic in that way.
4-to-1 has felt like the right place for me to expand my practice, and I feel like I gravitate often in and around 4-to-1 because 4-to-1 has really established itself as a place that is invested in planting the seeds along with the artist and then not kind of abandoning the artist as those seeds cultivate and grow. And so I think for me, it always feels like a full circle moment to come back and see what else can be drawn from the same ecosystem that helped these seeds to be planted and grown.
I love how 4-to-1 also just encompasses not just being an artist, but a creative in general. I can be a writer, I can be a teacher, I can be an artist, I can be a team member at times as well, and it feels like family. It's a lot of sharing, learning, and there's no kind of end to it. And I feel like that every time I come back here as well.
Working with artists or preparing an event for a certain community, in the planning stage they are involved, and that the process is not treated in a very transactional way, but more kind of it's a creative conversation. When you have space to actually change your initial idea with the people that you're working with, you get buy-in, people feel involved. Well, that's the whole point of the programs, right? Is to give people the feeling of ownership.
Sometimes someone attend a workshop asking, if I wanted to collaborate with you in type of program, MICE is always available. Someone of the program team is available. So I think one of the really important for them and for us, they feel like everything is accessible here in 4-to-1.
How do you make more meaningful journeys for the users? How do you build more flexible spaces for curators, more sustainable? I think all these are important, and I think not only for us at 4-to-1, but like as arts center, we have a lot of power to influence how people outside the industry think, and I think my hope is that we will keep doing our best and give a hope that things can be done differently.
Our collaboration really started with just us talking to each other, but was expansive enough that we were able to bring in other partners. When Mace and I started this research platform thinking about performance practice, Joanna Settle from NYU Abu Dhabi came to one of our sessions and immediately said, I want to be a part of this. And so just because we had together been able to be hospitable and invite other people in, it grew into something much bigger than us. It is actually this openness that really characterizes the team at 421.
We're living through such fast-changing, rapidly changing times, and nowhere more so than Abu Dhabi. We need to capture these moments as they happen. And there's always a risk of things happening so quickly you don't have time yet to absorb the importance of them. So to have, again, this community of people bearing witness, articulating, thinking about all the changes that are happening around us, and at the same time, which I think Warehouse 421 really focuses on, thinking about the past and how to preserve it and keep it living in the present. You've got this whole community of people doing that really precious work. And I think that will have even added value in the years to come that we're not even aware of now.
When we first opened, 421 was alone in Mina Zayed. 421 came while there were still a lot of conversations and ideas about what can actually happen here in this part of the port. And today this has changed significantly. Misa's growing, and it's growing really fast, and it's growing in a very exciting way. And I think I'm really looking forward to seeing how this neighborhood is going to change and how we are going to change with it.
We see Misa also as a place that is for everyone. Yes, we're interested in businesses and entrepreneurs who have ideas that will shape the future of this neighborhood. However, Misa is also a place where we'd love to see families come and gather. We'd love to see visitors check out the neighborhood. We'd love to see people come and work here. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that 421 offers here, is that you can really walk in and see a representation of the people of Abu Dhabi and the people of the UAE reflected in 421.
I think what 421 has taught SHF about the importance of investing in long-term cultural growth is really how much need and the great opportunity there is to develop artistic practices, curatorial practices, to develop creative content that isn't looking outward, but is actually looking inward. The great value of investing in looking sometimes backwards, sometimes reflecting on ourselves, and really using everything that is around us as a source for creative production.
It's just the beginning. And I have absolutely no doubt of the many great things 421 will do. I mean this wholeheartedly. I mean, they did everything they did in a span of a decade. Can you imagine what else they're going to do going forward? They're the nucleus. You know, you want to feel a pulse of Abu Dhabi's cultural scene and the wider UAE, you touch 421.
I think cultural spaces grow with the people. It's really important for spaces like 421 to continue to be adaptable and grow with its community, people who have shaped it. The minute you become rigid, you will start to fall behind. It's very important to continue to have conversations with people you're trying to support, to continue to listen, and I think to continue to change.